Hey everyone, this is a follow-up to my AYN Thor video. I've been able to play around with it quite a bit, and there's quite a bit to share, and today I'm accompanied by my lovely wife.
Hello.
Alright, so there's a lot to go over, so I'm going to try not to make this too long, but I'm really bad at that. So, real quick, I did get the little bumpers. I tried playing around with them a little bit, and unfortunately they're not going to stay. I kept them on here just to show you. Unfortunately, for one, they're just slightly too small. I think I got just the right size based off the measurement, which is around close to 2 millimeters, and I think it needs to be like 2.1 or so. But regardless, even if I did get the right size, since everything is made out of glass and I didn't consider this, it's very, very slippery. Very slippery. Originally,
I thought you put it on.
yeah, I did. I put it on the corners. And the reason why I moved is because your hand constantly moves them around and they end up getting all over the place. So I put them up there and they're more likely to stay up there. However, it looks horrible and I can see them.
It does.
Yeah, so
It looks silly.
gonna take those off. So no go on those. But if people are interested, I mean, one way to keep them in is if you want to glue it, which I definitely don't want to do. But I'll put a link in
It's
there.
right here.
Yep, there they are. So
They
they
look
come
like little teardrops.
Yeah, they do. But they are just slightly too small, but they aren't useless because they do help if the screen was to get squished at any point. So, okay, so another thing I wanted to show is I got a screen protector. I don't know if it shows up, but didn't do a very good job. Regardless, I don't like the way it looks. Another screen protector for the top is coming in, and most likely I'll keep that. But this, yeah, a lot of bubbles. Gonna remove, it's kind of cheap, and I'm sure the one that AYN sells is probably pretty good, but I'm not interested really in covering the whole thing and trying to get it perfect. I'm really bad at putting screen protectors in. Typically, it takes me more than one try. So yeah, no on that. Plus, the feel of it is not so good. The feel of the actual screen itself is great. So, all right, so that's it for that. Another quick thing is I guess I mispronounced the name. I wasn't really thinking when I said it. I called it the AYN Thor. I guess it's the AYN, or how would you say it?
I would just say AYN.
AYN Thor.
It's easier. It's
Yeah.
just one syllable.
Yeah. So my mistake on
However,
that.
no, it's okay. I think you're fine.
Well, I think it kind of bothers a couple people, but yeah, my mistake, and that's a really bad habit of mine. I do mispronounce things all the time, so if that's gonna really bother you, then maybe these videos aren't quite for you. But we're just here just to have fun. Okay, so since I've been playing around with this, and I'll show some applications, I use mostly RetroArch, and that's probably saying that wrong too. RetroArch, whatever you want to call it, and I had to remove all my settings, unfortunately. And there's way more on this little device, but unfortunately, I mean, I guess I could show it later. But since I'm using the SD card I use for this and here, you know, I can't show all the different settings on here quite yet. Maybe later I'll remove the SD card and put it into the Retroid 5. But typically what I have, let's throw on some Castlevania real fast. Typically I always have overlays. Yeah, let's wash this real fast. I washed it, but there's already fingerprints. They come so quickly. Here, let's fast forward through all that. I normally have an overlay on the left and right, and it looks pretty awesome, but I had to remove all of the customization, all the settings. Let's lower this a little bit. Due to the fact that RetroArch was crashing every once in a while, and I figured it had something to do with the configurations. So that's an interesting thing. It doesn't seem to be so seamless to basically transfer everything from here onto there. It's easy to do, however, I ran into a lot of issues. It's too bad because when you go from Retroid to Retroid, it's seamless. It's not a big deal. But when you move things from here to there seems to be a lot of stuttering, a lot of crashes. With stuttering, I mean stuttering in the process, which is too bad. I mean, everything works fine, but then you run into crashes. So it seems maybe in the difference of processors possibly or hardware, it has an effect. So, okay, so I've been playing around. You're going to notice that I do use the D-pad quite often. For me, it is not uncomfortable at all. It's fine. I've mentioned that in the first video, not a big deal. Now, some issues I encountered while playing, I mentioned how I did like these buttons right here. Not so much anymore because they are a lot shorter, and now I know. I guess I took this for granted. The buttons here are a lot higher, and I don't know what it is, but for some reason I have an easier time playing with these buttons than I do with these. These feel fantastic, don't get me wrong, but the problem is I think because I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. They're fine. I'm not saying they're bad. I just think the one on the Retroid Pocket 5 are better. And I seem to always tap the corner of this screen, which causes the influence to go on there. So to avoid that, thankfully, you can go into the settings by pushing the AYN button here and locking the controls to the top screen, which is typically what I do. If I play a game like a Game Boy game, sometimes I play on the bottom screen, so you just jump back in here and do that. It is a little annoying about having to touch in order to control a screen. I wish there was like some kind of button that allowed you to switch instead of having to touch it, because I really don't always enjoy touching the screens. Another thing I wish there was there was a way to lock the touching lock on. Or, am I saying that right? I'm trying to think about what I'm trying to say here. But basically, I wish there was a way to avoid you being able to touch onto this screen and having an effect, like a way to lock on where only your touches work on just the top screen. That'd be a fantastic feature for me. That way, when I'm playing and I accidentally touch this bottom screen, it doesn't put the focus on here. Because the problem with that is a lot of times while I'm playing games, I'm watching a YouTube video on the bottom. And if I want to basically freeze the screen by pushing back, I'll either forget or not realize I touched the bottom screen. And if I hit back, it backs out of the YouTube video. And it doesn't go back, like back one page. It seems to take me to, I think, the main menu of YouTube. And if I try to go back by scrolling back, or swiping back, it doesn't take me back to the actual video. It takes me somewhere else. So I don't know what's going on there. So a little complaint. But other than that, the game is fantastic. Game's played really, really well. It feels really comfortable. I do really, really like the feeling of the D-pad. However, what I don't like, and I mentioned this before, is the fact that it's kind of really deep in there. So my thumb is always kind of touching the little cliff here. I'm not sure if there's a more technical word for it, but yeah. But other than that, the games run great. So here's Castlevania. Let's do something else real fast. If you have a game running, you can't start up a separate. Going on to Firefox. I meant to go into RetroArch there. You can't have two entities of it existing. It can only be on one screen at a time. So if it's open here and you open it down here, it's going to just appear here, which is fine. Oh yeah, that's right. I locked the controls, so that's not going to work. Whoops. Let's not go on to Discord there. Not that there's anything on there, but yeah, so another thing there is having to play around with this quite a bit can be annoying. I locked this to 60 frames per second because there are instances of screen tearing on here if you play on the bottom screen, and the screen tearing is very, very noticeable. Not a deal breaker for this, but just making it known that does happen. Okay, so another thing that kind of isn't so good is the fact that even though you locked the controls to the top screen, this does not include the back and home buttons. So the back button, as I mentioned before, if you accidentally touch the bottom screen, hit back, trying to go back to the menu on a game you're playing, it's going to affect whatever one has the main focus. Now, if there isn't a way to lock the touch mechanism to either the top or bottom, one thing I would ask as an optional feature, because not everyone's gonna like this, at least put a a border that indicates which screen has the touch focus. That way I know ahead of time, if I hit back, is it going to affect the bottom screen or the top screen? Because there's no way to indicate that. So, yeah. So you have to just touch it before, whoops, I'm hitting all sorts of things. You have to touch it before you hit back to be sure that that's the screen is going to affect. That's confusing because when you think controls, you're thinking everything, right? But no, they don't do it that way, which is a little odd since you can control everything by touch anyways. So if you're not going to have a touch lock, at least lock the home and back button on the main screen that you have this locked onto. If you do auto lock, I think so. I think that would help a lot. Auto lock is kind of a weird name. It says auto lock. I'm guessing that means auto lock to whatever you touch, maybe. But weird name. I guess you could probably say default, but that doesn't matter. It's just a minor nitpick. Okay, so I've been able to test the power of this thing. I did run some PS2. We're not going to jump to that right now. I think the thing people want to see is DS and 3DS, so let's go look at that. Another thing people have been asking about is basically a delay in controls. So a couple games I was playing. Let's throw on Rayman DS, which is not really the greatest game, but there's a reason why I'm going to actually pull this one up. And is it okay? It's a little dim, but we're getting some fingerprints. I can wipe that off. All right. Yeah, so screen protector probably is kind of helpful, but I don't think necessary. Honestly, there's not a scratch on here, but I'm not very harsh on my devices. Okay, so there is something I really wanted to show on this that you can do. Now, again, this game is not the greatest, but controls on DS can be slightly annoying, right? So what they programmed into the game is this touchpad D-pad, which does not feel great on the original DS and on here. So there's a way around that. So one thing I noticed is even if you use the analog stick, because of course the game is only programmed to handle up, down, left, right, and diagonal. Oh no, of course, I got a cutscene going. Let's get past this. I've been in fast forward mode. But to get around that, you can use this, but I'll show you what you can do. So see, my analog stick's not working right now, and there's a reason for that. Oh shoot, oh shoot. Get back there. Okay. So what you can do is you can switch screens like that. I have to pull up something real fast. You have to put on the floating icon. I just don't like the way that looks. Pull this out and turn on the key adapter. Right now I have the left analog stick capturing this right here. And when doing so, if I do this, I get a nice 360 movement, which is really, really handy if you take advantage of those kind of features. So again, this is the key adapter, an excellent thing to do for DS games that use the touch screen as a way to move. So like even Mario DS might work slightly better. I haven't tested with that one. I've been doing this one because of achievements. Unfortunately, some of the achievements have been working, so I'm probably going to put down Rayman DS. I like Rayman, but I do not like this version. But I figured I'd get the achievements since they're pretty fun to get and also don't seem like it's going to be that hard. So there you have it. Pretty awesome. Speaking of which, let's try that right now on camera. Let's go on to Mario DS and see how well that works. So to switch screens, I actually... oh yeah, that's right. I have to start a new game.
That looks pretty.
Yeah, really fun game. A lot of people don't like it. I'm one of the rare few who actually really do like this version. So I upscaled it a bit. That's why everything looks so smooth and not so jagged. So this can handle upscaling. I think I upscaled it to 5 times the native scaling. You can probably go even higher and have no slowdown. I haven't noticed any slowdown. This thing is a beast. Again, this is the max model, so I don't know how it compares to the other ones. All right, start a new one. So I did map screen swapping to the... I lost my train of thought there. Anyway, I mapped it to L2 button, and I mapped fast forward to the R2 button right there. Again, these triggers, they do not bother me. I do understand what other reviewers mean by making it more rounder. Yeah, that would have helped, because if we look, here we go. If you do look on here, it is really, really round, and that is really, really appreciated because it actually fits, especially if you got, hands like mine, it really fits really well and along the curves of your fingers. And it's a shame that they didn't go with that. They really wanted to go with that boxy look, which like the 3DS, which is kind of a shame that they went more for form factor other than actually worrying about, the comfort aspect. Now let's fast forward all this cutscene. I don't think I could skip it. So after this, we'll show just a little bit of 3DS, and then we're going to get some opinions from my wife to see how she feels about it, because if we look at her hands, let's see her hands. Hers are a lot smaller than mine. All right, let's get past more of these cutscenes. Okay, so let's switch screens and let's see how. Oh yeah, this is definitely Okay, I probably have to center it. Let's try doing that. That's one thing that I wish this had. I wish you can actually save your changes per game. Melon DS doesn't seem to have that kind of option. All right, let's see how this... There we go. Okay, yeah. See, this feels pretty nice, actually. I think I have to get it just right because it seems like, yeah, when I go to the right, it's a little slower. Yeah, it's going to take some testing around, but as long as I stay on the left side right now, it seems to be working better. You got that full kind of 360 movement. I think they try to make it as accurate as they possibly can. You know, with the resources they had at the time, the developers, very limited. Let's see if I can figure out a way to get this to... Seems a little bit better. Yeah, it seems like you have to kind of play around with it a little bit, but yeah, it's a little bit better. I think there's a way to run if I hold on to this button, right? Except for it seems like here, yeah, you can control the speed by just using the touchscreen. That's pretty awesome. So I'm gonna have to play around with that. And then of course you could change the camera, which is also pretty cool, by touching up there and collecting fingerprints. So that's always fun. All right, so that's not too bad. Of course, having the floating icon is annoying. To get rid of it, you just go here, turn off that. The problem is the key adapter is still active, and that actually takes away control from the analog stick when you're playing other games. So you're gonna have to constantly play around with stuff. Devices like these, they require a lot of configuration. They require some patience. So before we start playing another game while I'm getting set up, let's talk about the battery life. So I started this out, I don't need that anymore, with 36% when I started filming. It's still 36%. The battery is fantastic. It'll last you all day. So there's no complaints there. It's excellent if you plan to play all day. I have played 3DS a little bit, and it works well, and I think I upscaled it 4 times, and no slowdown there. It does take some fiddling around to get the screens just right. If people want me to show how to do that in another video, I can. It just takes some time, and it does require some restarting of the application, because when you do it the first time, everything seems to be shifted to the right a little bit. At least it was for me. So, okay. Is start not working? Do I not have start mapped correctly? Wait a second. Did the bottom screen... I just realized something, because I played this earlier, and is the bottom screen being mapped accurately? Yeah, it is. There it goes. This is really great because this reminds me of the good times I had playing 3DS, and I absolutely loved my Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm not sure that the bottom screen was showing up. I didn't really pay attention. I'd have to look back on the video. Okay, so we have to watch a little cutscene. Too bad you can't. Yeah, I didn't save it. That's the problem. But the game runs fantastic. We're going to talk a little bit about a delay in the controls. For me, I haven't noticed anything. We can actually jump around real fast. Let's jump over here real fast. Pull up some more Castlevania, and I don't know the best way to really show this, but as I tap, so you can see that Alucard is moving as I tap. He's not moving after I lift my finger. You know, a jump. I haven't had any issues controlling any of the characters, including in 3DS and also in DS. So with DS, with Melon DS, I forgot to mention, you want to get the latest beta version for your DS devices, because an older Melon DS version, that you want to go with the nightly, don't go with the stable, because it will crash. It seems to be some kind of issue with the way it handles the 2 screens. The developer, I think yesterday the day before, had developed a patch that fixes any crashing. So it kind of sucked for a while. I thought, again, it was the Thor's fault on that case. No, it had to do with the actual software causing it to crash. And I'm almost wondering if RetroArch is falling under that same issue. But ever since I cleared all the configuration files and been playing things like PlayStation, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, all those good things, I haven't had any more crashes, which is good. So you can see nice smooth animation here and movement. I don't have more taxing games, unfortunately. I can always take some suggestions if you guys want me to continue making videos on this. I don't have to, but if you do want to see more videos from me, definitely put a list of games you want me to test out, and I'd be happy to do that. So here we go. Let's see if there's any kind of delay that we notice in controls. No? Well, okay, slight. Oh yeah, there definitely, I can feel it. There definitely is. There is definitely some delay there. So see, as I lift my finger, he jumps. So that's gonna take some getting used to there. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that doesn't feel good. Now I believe there are some options you can play around with that actually improves the latency. One thing I guess I can do is I can drop this so I have it at 4 times. Let's see what we get when we go to native. Okay, that's better. That's better. So if you're going to upscale it, you're going to have some delay. Yeah, this is much better. So when I jump, well, I mean, you know, I got to do it just right because I mean, if I jump like that, yeah. So jump a little bit after, but it's hardly noticeable. I can still play. It does make it feel very floaty, so to speak. Ooh, a little bit of screen tearing there. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. It's like a little jagged.
Barely noticeable.
Do I not? I thought I had everything mapped. How do you not do a twirl in this game? Well, anyways, let's go do that. But yeah, it's really only noticeable if you pay attention for it. For me, it's not really going to affect me playing because I'm already used to it at this point, and that's what kind of happened earlier too. Was, you know, I probably noticed it right in the beginning, but then after it's fine. Another thing we can do, which I think I have it in performance mode, is we can up this up a little bit. Let's go high performance. So we're not even going at the highest. And yeah, I think that made a slight difference. I do notice some jittering here and there, but that could be from it downloading shaders in the background, and that does slow it down. But no, yeah, see now, not that much of a delay. It will take some getting used to, but I think your self-conscious will basically adjust to it, and you won't even notice it unless you think about it all the time. Then yeah. And I am used to having high frequency monitors. Both my monitors go well over 100 frames. One of them is 240, another one I think is 165. And no, this doesn't really bother me. When it comes to handheld devices, I know there's gonna be a slight compromise, and that's fine. I'd rather take that compromise in order to have that comfort. So another thing I want to talk about as I'm talking about comfort is the weight of this. It is incredibly light. When I pulled it out the other day, I mentioned that there's a little bit of weight to it. Well, when you have it kind of out like this, it's light. It really feels like a feather. It feels like it's going to jump out of my hands. It really doesn't have any stress on my hands. I could play it for a long time. My hands don't get tired. And that could be considered a good and a bad thing. For me, I prefer a little bit more weight, and I wish there was more weight on the screen because it is flimsy, and when I touch it, it does feel cheap. So,
really?
Yeah.
It's compact. It feels compact.
It is, but I wish there was a little bit more weight. So like if we compare it to something like this, it feels really sturdy. The top screen doesn't feel like it's going to just flap out and, I don't know, break. Like this is very, very, if we go like this, it's like flimsy, you know, compared to this. If you feel this feels more well structured, this top part.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, there's definitely a difference in feeling. So here's the classic DS that I definitely still adore. I don't play it, unfortunately. It is modded and has a lot of great stuff, but it brought a lot of joy. Of course, you had the screen scratches on the side, but yeah, this is less flimsy. Even this watch, feel this one right here. If you feel the top screen, it feels really thick. It feels really nice. It almost feels like it's almost equal to the bottom part as far in terms of weight, which gives it more balance.
Right.
You know, and it doesn't feel like it's a feather going to fall out of my hands. It has kind of a premium weight to it, which is probably something they had considered when they designed this.
I like the feel of this.
Yeah, and it's light. That's the thing. It's really, really light.
Like this one is like a little bit, I don't know.
How do they compare in your opinion? Which one do you prefer to hold?
Like when it comes to feel, I think I kind of prefer this one over this one. It has that rough feel to it.
And this one's more of like a smooth, glossy
I like the
feel.
Smoothness of this one.
Yeah.
But it's just, preference.
Yeah. So, Yeah, so there's that. Another thing I wanted to bring up, because we're kind of coming to a close here. I'm not sure if there's much more I really wanted to talk about here. Oh, the screen just turned black on me. What the heck?
So does this have camera too?
It does not. No, you'd have to attach it. I don't think there's a way to save this, but I don't plan on playing it anytime soon. So let's just close the game so that way we can free up our bottom screen. Oh, I'm not sure that really freed it up, did it? Yeah, we are. Okay, let's turn it off and turn it back on. Let's see. Nope, we have lost the bottom screen. No big deal. So I didn't get that earlier either, so that's new right now. All right, so now you can see kind of the fingerprints. It still looks fantastic. I do clean it. I use, what do we use to clean our screens? Whoosh? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, but I call it whooshy.
Whooshy, yeah, whooshy, whooshy. Yeah, what I did was and it is getting kind of a little, messy. I did color in this because I feel that this actually looks kind of boring from the outside. It needs some decoration.
I wish they put something on it, maybe like, the logo or something.
Yeah, something.
Do you prefer that?
No, I do. We're going to look at some other devices real fast. I unfortunately don't have a classic DS on hand. It's somewhere in our storage. But
yeah, but this does look boring. It's just a box.
Yeah, it doesn't look like exciting to play until you open it up. Then the excitement happens. Like when we compare.
But I do like the buttons. It's colorful.
Yeah, the colorful buttons. Like when you look at something like this, or do I have? Oh, I don't have them with me right now. But when you look at something like this and it's just laying there on the table, it wants to be played. It looks fun. It's colorful. Same with this. But when it's closed like that, it does. I don't know. I have a feeling that if I just left this right here on my table and I had friends come over who have no idea what the AYN Thor is, they're not going to think twice about it. They're not going to be like, oh, what's this? They're just going to see a DS and think it's a DS and that's it. Just maybe even say, oh, you still play the DS or something, I mean, this is even more exciting because you got this and someone might pick it up and, oh, that's cool. Where'd you find this or something like that, and open it up and see.
Are there any accessories or anything that you could put on here?
From
like
the actual official website, there is a plastic cover you can put over it, but it's transparent.
Okay.
I'm sure people will create decals. I know one person has, but I don't think they made it available. They just did it for their own. They put like a shiny purple decal, which might be kind of cool. I would almost advise, if this bothers you. I mean, I really got it for this because on the actual promotional pictures, it shows the AYN Thor like that, and it just looks fantastic. It wasn't until later on when I saw they finally had a closed picture like that. It's like, it kind of looks kind of boring actually.
But then that's just me. I don't play any video games.
Well, even when you look at the 3DS, which has awesome, not a lot going on except for these, which does make it look kind of cool. The shiny surface does help because it does add texture. You have shininess, and it's only shiny there. You do have kind of all glass, but it never really bothered me. Ooh, that light. Ooh, that is blinding.
The black, the black one, is it like shiny?
No, but I think the black one just looks more appealing to me. So let's look at another one real fast. So I want to talk about the Pandora. I mentioned it before, and I finally got it out of storage. And this I played all throughout college. I absolutely loved this thing. This was awesome. I think I played it it was probably my main console of choice for 8 years possibly. But see, here it is kind of boring, but you have the logo and that does give it character. I bet you if that wasn't there, this would probably look a lot cheaper than it actually is. And it does feel kind of cheap. I'll have you hold it in just a second. But I mean, this is a fantastic device. This is probably one of the best D-pads I've ever used in my life. See, the whole thing is one piece, and you'd think that would not be so great, but it actually feels really good. It gives you really good control, really awesome control. At the time, I really liked these buttons, but after playing with so many devices over the years, these buttons are not so great. And these nubs are probably the worst nubs I've ever dealt with, ever. I pretty much never used them, ever. Other than that, the buttons and everything is great. Having absolute control, having a computer in your pocket for 2010,
like
2011.
A calculator to me.
Some kind of crazy graphing scientific calculator. Another interesting thing that they like to mention is it had dual SD slots.
Okay.
That was awesome. A locking mechanism, which was great. You push it to the right. I think it's dead. I don't know if this is going to turn on. Yeah. Oh, it turned on. Oh, that screen doesn't look too bad. Last time I played it, the screen, oh yeah, it doesn't look too bad. There we go, we have it going, great. But cool thing is if you move it to the left, just like PSP, it's a locking mechanism. It'll lock the controls if you want to listen to music.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Hang on, let me put in this real fast. It didn't take one of my button pushes, hang on. We might not be able to get in because it's been a long time. Let's see, let's try this. I think that was my password. Yep, that was it. Oh yeah. See, the screen is kind of discolored quite a bit. It's old. This is an old device now. 2011. Wow. Yeah, you can see all those lines and stuff. I think it has something to do with the ribbon. I don't think there's any way I could fix it just by fiddling, not to open it up. But oh look, there's that same desktop screen. But this was my. Well, it's not too bad. I guess it's kind of working. I've had worse with this thing. Another thing is that they rotate. That's not so good. But this isn't a review about that.
Is this like when you play and you touch these buttons? Does that mess up the game?
No, unless you map the buttons, but I don't ever touch them. And not only that, if you feel, they're very tight.
Yeah, but like when you're playing and when you accidentally.
Well, I don't.
Press.
I typically don't, and they're very tight. They require some force to actually be touched. But the fact that you had this desktop, it's a Linux desktop, in your pocket was always awesome. This thing lasts forever. 20 hours. I think even more sometimes, but 20 hours was the average. It's a great battery life. The battery is this whole thing.
This instead of the AYN.
Yeah, actually, I should title it that. This is actually a review of the Pandora, not that. Now, one last thing I wanted to bring up real fast is I'm in the minority here. I am a big fan of the analog nubs. I really, really like those. I would have been really excited if this had a nub instead of a analog stick.
Which one do you think is like more accurate, or does it matter?
I would imagine these would be, though for the purposes that I use this for, this was good enough. Mm-hmm. And I really like it. I like the feel of it. Even the snappiness is great, but I think majority of the world prefers analog sticks,
I think I prefer that one too.
The sticks, mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, nothing wrong with these. The one thing I don't like about these, though, is I don't like the ridges on the edges here. They don't feel good against the thumb. Oh, did this not turn on? Come on. I felt the vibration, but sometimes it doesn't do anything. Like right now, which could be a bad sign. Maybe this just died on. Oh, there we go. Okay, you have to hold it even longer. Okay, so that's the trick. Hold on to it even past the vibration. The vibration is kind of fooling you, like, nope, I'm on. Nope, I'm not. But, I'm almost considering, because I know I mentioned I didn't really care for this too much, the concave compared to convex here, but I may pull these out and put them in here if they fit. Let's try that now. Let's see. Okay, so there's that. That's pulled out. That's pulled in. The only thing is that they're white, so I may have to...
It's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, that actually feels better. I don't know what it is about this. I don't really like it too much. I would want a different color, so I'd probably take the ones. I have a bunch of extra ones that Retroid had provided me. This actually feels better here than it does if I swap them. Yes, that feels kind of pretty good. I never really quite like the way that feels, but the fact that it's recessed in, it allows your thumb to kind of sit in there, and I'm not hitting the cliffs so much. Or the recessed cliffs, or I don't know what you'd call that. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
That really belongs.
So someone can correct me in the comments, or not just someone, a billion people, just like the last one. So many people are saying, "Oh, I've never heard it be called ion." Well, I seem to make mistakes there. Let's have a final, awesome little look there. Let's have some final words real fast before we end this video. I really like this thing. This is definitely going to be my main device, and I plan to keep it that way for a while. We'll see what happens, because when that Amber Neck DS comes out, which I may get because it's cheap, I know it's not going to replace a lot of the power that's required for a lot of these applications, but it will be awesome. But I think that this will be my main console of focus. I wish I had more time with this.
At least for now.
For now, yeah. For the year. At least for the year. I don't intend...
Until a new one.
Well, a new one.
A fancy and, pretty looking new one comes.
Let's combine this. This will be... Well, this was not... Okay. There we go. This could be awesome. So you got like the best of every world now. Now you got GameCube, you got the old Nintendo or Super Nintendo, almost like Game Boy. No, Game Boy was black. No, okay. Well, anyways, yeah, there you have it. Let's put these in here. I may play like this from now on. I may put a black one in there, and then that way there's a variety of colors and stuff, which is great. I like the variety of colors, and yeah. So okay, so final words. Really like this device. I know I did say a lot of negatives. I just wanted it to be kind of known. It does feel good. The analog sticks don't bother me. I don't like the little analog sticks. I meant the trigger buttons. I don't like the shoulder buttons. I don't like the clicking sound, and the feeling isn't so satisfying compared to this. This is also clicky, but something about it, there's less travel and there's less wiggle on that. The wiggle I mentioned before does not feel good, especially if you push on the edge. You do feel it slightly like tilt, which is not really natural for games. Here, click it real fast. Let me know, what do you think about...
I think it looks fine. I mean, it feels fine.
Yeah, it's just a minor complaint. It's not going to kill a game, but there are times where I push it and I'm like, you know, that didn't feel so satisfying. I mean, it's not going to beat this because I think this one's even better. You don't have a lot of travel. It's quiet, yeah, and it's quiet, simple, and it doesn't require too much force. You know, I mean, it does, but it's not going to be clicked on accident.
What's the purpose of the shoulder buttons?
They're just buttons that some games use, and Castlevania use them to like slide or use like special abilities and stuff. I mentioned this last time, and someone said something about it in the comments. This is a C stick or a second, a right analog stick. For the games that support it, which I think were only 2 for the 3DS, it was used for camera controls.
I do like the feel of this one.
Yeah, this one definitely is always going to win. It is made by a big time manufacturer, Nintendo, you know, and they're going to make sure that there you have it. You know, and this is made by, you know, a more of a...
Still, you know, it looks great.
It looks fantastic. The glass does help, and it doesn't bother. I haven't had a chance, or I mean, I haven't had a situation where the glass really bothered me. There seems to be people complain about it, but there are people who are complaining about it, in my opinion, without actually spending a lot of time. I don't even think Russ from Retro Corps, he hasn't even complained about it. Even in his last video, he didn't say it was really that big of a deal.
Did you put protective screen on this?
I didn't. Oh, okay. No, it's just incredibly glossy.
I think I would prefer without any protector on it.
Yeah, and I mentioned that in the first video, and I might stick to that. I got the protective screens just to test with them, just to have them. It was good for this video. I showed as much as I can imagine. If you want to have for the audience, if they want to see a gaming showcase, again, please give me a list of games that you want to see played on here. All right, so we're at 38 minutes. That's actually not as long as I thought this was lasting. I think it's best we end there. And again, if you want to see more videos like this, you can always request. It's a lot of fun. Did you have fun?
I did.
All right, and yeah, so both me and my wife will be here next time showing off. And look at this. This is awesome. We turned it on and we turned it off. We've been recording 36. Fantastic. It does take a while to charge. I even tried a fast charger. It doesn't seem to charge so fast, which is a little weird compared to other devices, especially compared to the Retroid Pocket 5, which charges incredibly quick if you use a fast charger. This thing charges and it lasts. I don't think it lasts as long as the Thor, though. The Thor, I think, beats out that. It does not beat out the Pandora. I'd love to make a separate video about the Pandora. It's too bad that the screen is such in horrible shape, but I really do love this device, and it'd be nice to return back to it. But anyways, without going on forever, because I could talk forever, that's it. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for everyone who said all your nice comments, and even people who corrected me. I'm not complaining. It's good that you correct me. That way I get things correct. Just hopefully it's not too annoying. I know I say things incorrectly. That's just part of my style. But again, we're just here to just have fun, entertain each other, and talk, you know, and talk tactfully. So that's it. That's the old screen protector. Is this the one I pulled off?
Don't buy this.
Yeah, don't buy. In fact, the one I got did have the right dimensions. But when I got it, it was bigger than it mentioned. So I actually had to use a paper cutter and cut this down to size. And still, I didn't like it. It does not look good. But
and probably no on this too.
yeah, probably no on that too. At
That's
least for me.
silly.
Yeah. All right. See you later.